like a daddy Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play option. Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Good morning. How's
Good morning.
everybody doing this morning? Troy, how are you, sir?
Live back in the studio with us.
There
Had
it
a
is.
technical glitch is Mr. Dan Sheridan.
There he is. Good
Right in
morning.
time. Right in time. Had some internet outages. We're back.
We are live.
We are live. Yeah.
How's everybody doing this fine Monday morning? You know, before you answer that, I'll just give a little peek behind the proverbial curtain here. When we were mapping out this show months ago, just in general, the concept of the OO show, Troy, you know, we were talking about what a day would look like, and Troy said, and you know, if the markets ever up 150, 175, 200 points or down that much, the daily show will just kind of go out the window. And here it is, Monday, May 12th. And Troy, do you happen to know what the futures are up this morning, approximately? Just a ballpark guess.
They are up more than the Pacers beat the Cavs last night.
Oh,
wow.
I'm wearing the shirt. They're still in.
Listen, I'm gonna change my intro in the song to say Troy's dreaming big like the Pacers.
That's
Wow.
maybe you should.
Yeah.
I have an extended thing to deliver on why the Pacers are like a backtesting portfolio, but I'm not going to do it today. But I've actually been seriously thinking about this.
I love Matt's.
Good Lord.
discussion.
I don't want to. Yeah, that's
dead.
terrible.
I'm dead. I have backtests as part
Yeah.
of this. I'm
Okay.
dead serious.
You got the data.
Well, see, this
I
is the
have the
hard
data.
now I'm torn because this is the hard part, Dan. I know that's probably a really good piece. I think that's really good. The hard part is I don't want to do it right now, but I know that they're going to be out. They're not going to make it to the finals, and so
You
we've got to do it soon.
Maybe.
You know, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Listen,
But,
I'm rooting for it. In the Eastern Conference, I honestly as a
Love it.
Reggie Miller, Larry Bird fan, I would love the Pacers to be in.
Love
yeah.
it.
At this point.
So, Troy, were you positioned at all for this move? Because
Matt, I'm glad you asked that.
I would love to know. I can talk about what I did or didn't.
Yeah, talk
do.
about what you did. I'm interested.
Well, so I have my mechanical trades. I'll just say this. Last night we were traveling and I got on a plane and it was a red eye. So I'm dragging a little bit.
Yeah.
And got on the plane and I had two things that I was thinking about. Number one was hopefully the Pacers have a good first half, because that's all I can watch in the airport. That's all I can stream.
Oh, wow.
I ended up radio streaming it. And I thought, and hopefully I've got like some trades that are expiring Monday that are long delta. And they don't need the market to go up a ton, but they're long delta. And I started watching the Pacers and I was like, let me check these futures. And I was like, huh. So I get on this plane again, wanting to be a little long delta, wanting the Pacers to be, they're up by 41.5. Futures were up 80 points. And I wake up and just look at the phone. Oh, that 80 points was conservative. Futures were up 170. So I lately have been running mechanical trades, and there's a mechanical weekend trade that somebody posted a long time on Option Omega. I'm not gonna spoil it. You got to find it yourself. But I've been running that as well, and so that should be doing okay this morning. And then the calendars are probably in tough shape, even though the ones I do usually are a little long delta-ish when you're up 170. So as far as, I'll just say one final thing, because people don't want to hear about what I'm doing all day. I had a
They do. They
I
really
had a very discretionary, very broken wing to the upside that I took off Friday, and that was really dumb because my closest long call was at 5,800, and so that was stupid. So I pulled this. I was up a small amount. And I took it off, and I don't know why, because the whole point of it was if we have a trade agreement on the weekend, we're gonna go up 3%, and we're up 3%, and I took it off. So that was dumb. That's why I'm not again. This is why, nothing on this show is trading advice. I don't know what I'm doing, which is why I trade mechanically, people. Like that's why I have to be backtest based, because my intuition is not better than a backtest.
But you know what, Matt? I'll tell you, you were in the game. You had your mechanical test.
Yes.
Because I'm not. I mean, I'm trying to get mechanized. Sounds like I'm trying to become a robot. I'm trying to this week get mechanical.
Iron Man instead of Iron Man.
Well, yeah, because Friday I'm sitting there, and instead of having this stuff on, I was able to, back from a trip. I'm like, well, wait a second. And this is what Troy would say, like the first move. I'm trying to learn from the master here. And Troy said, hey, this is a very telegraphed, China and US are going to speak. I didn't know anything, but I'm thinking, okay, we've been quiet for 2-3 days. It's going to move a bit, but mainly, would this be a good environment not to have a positive gamma trade like a RIC where you get long deltas on the way up, short on the way down? No brainer. If I had it mechanized, right, just ready to go, it'd be going and protect me from myself, right, in terms of making that decision. But kind of jet lagging, I'll go take a nap. I'm not going to put it on. And then you see the move here. And I think that's a good thing, is stay the course.
Stay the course.
Right? To have a positive. And the other thing is this, just from a trading point of view, Friday, not only do you have China coming, but you had VIX, the lowest it's been in 5 weeks. It closed in the 21s. I mean, we did hit 17 like 8 weeks ago or something, but we were 22. And I think that's a vote for, you need your plan, because as human beings, wouldn't you agree? We're emotional critters at times. I don't care what the key is stick with it, right? Stick with it, stick with the plan. And so that's just my thought here. Now, for someone I know, stuck with the plan and took advantage, least but not, or the best. What do they say? We saved the best for last.
There it is.
Troy,
Troy, tell us what's cooking.
Give it to us.
What's cooking, Chef Troy?
Well, here's the thing. Matt is smarter than me, and
False.
Not false. Not false. Both these guys are smarter than me. Dan, much smarter than me. Mechanical trading is the future, because the point of it is to say you can do anything, almost anything, right? And so right now I'm in that phase where I'm balancing out mechanical trading with Matt's smarter than me simply because he knows what he doesn't know, and I'm an idiot and I get false randomness where I think I'm a genius. And so, I'm in my false genius phase, to be honest, right now, because I thought that China could move the market. If you look real quick, I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So this is market profile chart, and basically just showing, all these little columns was last week. And last week was a balancing week. Okay, so going into a balancing week where we're having moves that are not 100-point moves either direction, you look at it and you say, okay, China, they're meeting this weekend. The market's waiting for a catalyst to move the market up or down again.
That's right.
Right. And so China was going to move the market one way or another. And so what I did 2 things. I did ES, a backspread, as a hedge. So basically, I think I sold 55.50 and bought a bunch more of the 5500s for a net. So I don't remember the exact strikes.
A net credit?
It was like a net credit of like 40 cents.
Okay.
So you're long 2 units, short 1 unit.
Yeah, I will. So when markets opened last night, I just took that off, because that type of hedge, you actually don't want to wait. you want that move to happen immediately, or
Yeah.
else you bleed. So
That's right.
took it off for a credit. I think 40 cents. I took it off for 5 cents, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I did that because I had a crap ton of calls in XSP, which are all in the money at this point. And so now, like, I just bought it. My favorite thing in the world trading is when you can look at your account in the morning and you have so many deltas. Being long gamma, you have so many deltas one way or another that you gladly are purchasing hedges at that point. And so I bought ES puts before the show at the money, and I do it with joy. I hope I lose, $500 at the open just on that.
You're just reducing your deltas.
Yeah, I just brought deltas back down to zero to try to lock it in, while I can pre-market. And so,
you're still long gamma though.
Well, yeah, I'm long gamma,
which is nice. So you can play. Yeah. So even though your deltas, is this right, Troy? Your deltas are pretty flat. You're still long gamma. So if we drop 100, you're short deltas, right?
Yeah.
If we go up, you're picking up more long deltas. So you can enjoy the ride here a little more.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out at the open a little bit. I don't like to ride that hard, but at the open. But the point of it is, this is my main point with this, is the discretionary stuff. To Matt's point, there's times in the market where things, you can kind of pick spots, like we're traders. And so, there's system guys. I would argue Tom Brady was a system guy. Tom Brady was a backtest QB.
Yeah.
And you can watch that and appreciate it. Sorry. And he won a lot of championships, but and then every once in a while you can be a Peyton, which is just beauty and art distilled into the QB.
Where would you put Brett Favre in there? Kind of.
Oh my gosh, question. Brett Favre's slinging futures. Brett Favre is just slinging futures. Brett Favre's going to Wachovia asking for like a 2-day loan.
Backtest.
That's right. So, but to the point, this is I think the big picture. And guys, I'd love to get your perspective. I woke up and I told my wife, the free money's over now. That was the last move in my mind. Like, I don't think anything else is telegraphed. I have a feeling that who cares about my feelings? My feelings is I think we're going to fade this market this week.
Yeah. I mean, do you think we'll chop back down to that zone?
I think they're going to work really hard to not let it fade back down, because if they fade back down after all this positive news, that just means that the gas that they thought was going to take them to all-time highs, the gas has run out, and it didn't take you to all-time highs.
Well, so here's what's interesting is, I mean, I think this move is going to get, depending on where we close it might bring us back to flat for the year with the SPX, which, guys,
that's insane.
A month ago, the Monday after Liberation Day, Troy, you and I were together. You and I were sitting together on Monday and Tuesday.
Mexican.
And we ate Mexican, and we were trying to figure out if it was going to trip a downward limit on the Monday, I think. And then I think the Tuesday, it was a big bull move, if I remember right. But and we got, during that week, I don't know if people are aware of this, but from what I understand, the NASDAQ actually did limit down, but it didn't shut them. There's a technical condition that wasn't met. So the market actually didn't shut down, but the NASDAQ did trip a circuit breaker. It just didn't activate. I'm probably not using the exact right terms, but it met the downward movement later in the week. So here's the point. A month ago, we're talking about, are we going to limit? Is it finally going to trip a limit? Are we going to have a circuit breaker? We haven't had one since COVID. It's been 5 years. And then a month later, I think all that's happened is just news. The fundamentals. I here's the other thing that we're not talking about. I mean, what I'm trying to say is we're basically back to scratch. The other thing that we're not talking about is, I think in general, earnings have been pretty okay, right, for these companies. Yeah. I mean, does anybody care about fundamentals anymore? I don't really know, but earnings have in general been okay, and the effect of all this news in a month we took a roller coaster down, and they say you take the stairs up, but we kind of took the elevator back up too, didn't we?
No, there's no more stairs anymore. It's just all
No.
escalated. I mean, shout out the guy in January who sold the May 12th expiration at the money.
Oh,
You know,
my
the
God.
Iron Fly who just
Who
sold
didn't?
this.
No
The
profit or stop.
The balls of steel, just the big guy who just sat there and took the, I'm a trade premium. I put my 5-month on Iron Fly, and congratulations to you.
I think I agree with Troy in terms of for the week, and who knows how this will play out, right? But if you're putting your guess on the table, again, last week you could say all week you could say, boy, we're up 500 points in 3 weeks or whatever. Now we're up 700 points in X amount of weeks, and I definitely think at some point this week we're going to have at least 100 points down to now, as Matt said, whether or not it stays there, right? And they're going to fight hard to keep it up.
Yeah.
But I think to me, you got this big candle coming up, right? And I think that for a couple days at least today or tomorrow, you'll have some bigger candles. You'll have some range. And that's what I'm thinking. I mean, for the week, you still have a couple data points. You've got CPI on Tuesday.
Yes.
And
it's a spicy week.
Wait, CPI on Wednesday, Thursday, PPI. But here's the other thing. They must be having like a Fed conference or something because all these
Powell's speaking on Thursday.
Yeah, Powell's on.
Sentiment is Friday. It's like, Tuesday. It's a little bit different. We have a Tuesday, Thursday news week, which is a little bit different. So like in theory, I mean, I think a lot of people were bullish on the setup for calendars for DCs going into this week with a 170-point move that, unless you're very skewed bullish, you're probably not doing great. But to your point, are the 100-point candles gone? I know Troy, when he says this was the last free money, that's because Troy is Troy Stradamus and loves these discretionary big telegraphed news items. I'm not sure. Are we done with these large 50 to 100-point candle moves?
No.
Because here's the other thing. What is VIX like, Dan? When you're up 3%, should VIX be down more than 10%? Because VIX it's a volatility gauge. It's not just fear, it's volatility. And this 3% is a lot of volatility.
Matt, as Sylvester Stallone out of Philadelphia would say, absolutely not 2 points down to 1972 in theory is nothing for a 3% move in the SPY. But what does it mean? It means that it all reverses. When you start getting massive speed to the upside, right? The VIX is not going to drop as much because they're thinking just like what Troy mentioned. Hey, I want to hedge my, your long stock or whatever it is, and we could easily drop. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Now, the fact that VIX has been coming down, but now at 19, if it looks like it opens at 19.72, I'm looking at here, down a couple points, historically, right, it'd be in the upper end of the range, when we're in a 12 to 17 up, and the market's trending up. But to me, this is cheap. I mean, and I'm not saying what we can do, but I definitely would look to, for me, at least look to buy some call vertical debit spreads or something like that in VIX at this, at 19. I was willing to do it at 22 or 21.50. So I'd be willing to do it at 19, but I just think I would be surprised if we just think about it. It's Monday morning, we're up 3%. We've got a whole week to go. You've got to have some, and this is obviously the big news for the week. You don't have the very light with earnings. You have Tuesday before the market opens, Under Armour, Wednesday after the close of trading, Cisco, and then Thursday before the opening, Walmart and Deere. We are above the 200-day moving average, but you got to believe, to me, I'd rather be a little bit long Vegas, short a little bit of Delta, up at these levels. But, who knows? But, because it is it seems to me, buy the rumor, sell the news with the China thing. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to announce, I think, is it Bessent? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Bessent said that he's going to come out today and give details.
Yes.
But again, you can't, I mean, if it happens, I'm thankful, but there's no way you can tell me that two totally different cultures in a couple days or a couple hours are going to have everything solved.
No, I don't think they do. I mean, I think my weighing in on, again, not a good prognosticator, but my weighing in on what Troy is saying about the telegraph for this, I would say, in addition to Trump talking about it on, I think, Thursday and Friday, we also, I think I mentioned on the show last week, that Walmart news item, right? Like that there was this like kind of confirmed rumor that Walmart was telling Chinese vendors, no, go ahead and start shipping. And Walmart reports Thursday before the open.
Wow.
So are Walmart and Amazon maybe the two best indicators for what the tariff situation on the ground actually looks like? I mean, I would argue in the US, they probably are. Those two companies that Walmart and Amazon probably touch, just a number, probably touch more Americans than anybody else does. And since not that this is all about America, but I mean, that is this news cycle. This
show is right. I'll tell you guys that.
It will definitely be on July 3rd and July 5th for sure. And so, there's just that idea. Troy, tell us about what did you do? What are you doing, Troy Stradamus, with these trades?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I just bought calls to the point. Listen, I want to talk about backtesting because this is to the point. I'm going to talk about all the things I do right, and then one day I'm going to be down like $45,000 and be like, I guess the market,
one thing is one thing, and I just, but again, it's what do you take out of this for the future? Is will we have movement ever? Again, of course we'll have movement. We'll continue to have movement. We'll continue to have candles, and so I think it's, for me, the lesson, and for myself and a lot of other people, is just, again, when I was in the trading pit, we'd call it long gamma, backspreads or reverse, iron condors, those type of things. But those are trades that I think those are very neat trades. When you look at the world of long gamma trades, long gamma simply means your deltas get longer as we go up, shorter as we go down, which is euphoria for a speculative trader. Now, the other side of the coin is, if the volatility goes down, you have risk there in your negative theta. So it's not like a double calendar, and you have to understand that. But I think those are great trades that you can have in your arsenal. And what Troy made at the beginning was, I think one of the first principles I learned at the CBOE, within the first year was, listen, kid, if you're short Vega, you want to be overall, not up, overall, a little bit of short deltas. If you're long Vega, a little bit of long deltas. And the first thing Troy said today was, on my backspread or long gamma trades, I was a little bit of long delta, right, Troy? Which is the, and the reason why is because as the market goes up, volatility goes down. And it gives you a little bit of a cushion there. Now, today, one thing I think could be good, I'm very interested to hear from Matt a report tomorrow on his double calendars, because with the muted VIX move, now, again, a 3% price move is brutal, and it can take you right through the, even in a 20, whatever we were Friday, a 22 vol environment, double calendars, you got from here to, to end, you got a good distance, but at least the volatility might help a bit. But I think the price move, again, and here's the thing, Matt was saying, maybe I'm down 5 or 6%. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If you told me the worst days on some of these double, I mean, there could be worse days, but
there have definitely been worse days.
There have been worse. But if you told me a 3% move in an underlying on a positive theta trade, I'm be down 5 or 6%, I'd say sign me up. Sign me up for this thing. I'm in. And so I think that's Anyways, Troy, go ahead.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
go ahead, man.
I'm seeing this all over in our chat. Shout out to the chat, the Discord. We're gonna see it on the Discord tomorrow when people ask. There's not enough strikes up here. There's not enough strikes, so people are gonna have these tests. They're not sure what to test when there's missing strikes. Now, I probably could do this. Pull up a broker and look. I'm assuming most of the 10 wides are there. Are we missing more than 10 wides, chat? Like, are we saying there's not like a 59.25? I would think there would be all the big boys, but again, it depends what day. And Thursday is still always the basket case. So if anybody's looking at Thursday,
I wish they were quicker. I mean, when I was at the CBOE, I wish they were quicker. There must be I think there's a little bit of delay, and I'm like, come on, over the weekend.
Did any broker have enough power to be like, I want this strike, and you guys be like, the strike doesn't exist, but make it exist?
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's the Troy is very interesting. Yes, for the most part, they had a process, which was a little bit of bureaucratic, and it might take a day or two. But if Goldman Sachs, the big guys, Goldman Sachs or one of these said, hey, I need this by Monday at 7. Yes, sir. They could, because they carry a lot of, they're the big customers. They're the Walmart and the Amazon, they could get things quick. But if the market makers, the lowly market makers in the pit, if we said, hey, over the weekend, can you get the back office guys to add these strikes? Well, we'll get it by Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
Like, come on, guys. Because it really affects your adjusting, affects your hedging, and I'm sure
it probably slows a move down. Like I think about GameStop.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain part where you're like, I need more strikes, bros.
Yes. Well, that was
going.
Right.
That was the most obvious example ever, and
when they're hurting themselves because if you had
nobody
more
can
strikes,
trade it.
The liquidity, there'd be a lot more volume if you could trade out of the money stuff.
Yes.
And you could trade at the money, but if you could just do certain strikes, I don't know, it does change the dynamics a little bit.
Listen, I'm gonna show a back test real quick, and
a back test.
But before I do, you mentioned Sylvester Stallone. Rocky's my favorite movie all time. I've watched a ton of Grease. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you guys this. Can I show you my Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
And my
we don't even need to hear the rest. Just
John Travolta impression. So here's my Sylvester Stallone impression. Oh, it's like absolute. Okay, that's that one.
Right.
And then my John Travolta one. It's like oh my god.
Yeah.
That's my anyway. So anyway,
from Greece. I like that. I like that. That was good. I like that.
Thank
one.
You. I've spent a lot of time in the truck doing those voices in my mind a lot. So
anyway, anybody who's done, I mean, everybody does this. Sylvester Stallone, you got to do that.
Oh my gosh, right? It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, all right. So as is my custom,
yes,
I will show you a back test that sucks on Monday, and hopefully we make good back tests by Friday. But I'm gonna throw this out there, and this is a huge one for the chat this week, okay? Because I really want dealer participation in this, so you guys can send me what you got. But here's the thing. We are getting ready to launch automated trading. Okay. And for those who have asked, it's coming up soon. What is the date? Sooner than you've ever thought it would be.
At a theater near you.
Yeah. It's very soon.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'm thinking through is I think people should, in general, be smaller than they are size-wise. And I really think that automation presents an opportunity for people who work full-time, who are just getting started in options, to really, really learn the craft while having, like, I think of automated trading in some ways as like autopilot. You still have to know what you're doing, but it guides some things that where you can do some other tasks while you're trading. And so I had the idea of saying, I want to try to make trades for small accounts to see if we could find some cool stuff that when people come into automated trading, when we launch, we could say, hey, have you looked at this test? Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is not that trade. This is a SPY long straddle.
Yeah.
0 day, right? And it has not worked. right? Allocate 5%. You want to. Here's one of the key things as you guys think through this is you have to get out early on SPY, or else face. No one with $5,000 trading needs to wake up with 300 shares of SPY in their account. And so you
Indeed, they probably cannot.
Indeed, they probably cannot. And so you have to get out. So one of the things this week, if you guys are playing along at home, we're going to try to make a SPY long gamma trade work by the end of the week. Now, the things I can tell you is it will work. I have the data. I have the test. But I think it'd be fun to do this each day, kind of improve on this. The deltas might change. This is not one of those where it's like you have to keep the deltas the same. This is just the idea of saying, let's find some strategies in SPY this week to where we can look and say, hey, if you had 5K and you want to get into options trading, here's a way you could start. Something small. You're not going to become a billionaire, but this is a trade that you could have confidence in. Guys, what do you think of that plan for the week?
I love it. This sounds like a great week.
Well,
this is the official bat signal to tap in the vaunted OO community and get to work cracking and see if there's any ruminations that are worth displaying here to the broader context on this.
Well, and when you think about what we're doing here, you're buying an at the money 0-day straddle. And if you came up to me on the street, if I was like at the Panera Bread, and you said, Dan, I'd like you to do a 0-day 50 delta straddle. And I'd say, it's probably not going to work, right? You're doing a negative theta trade. I'd say flip it, sell it, long Vega trade. And as Troy said, to me, back to the Mickey Rooney movie, Boys Town, which I think everybody should watch for homework. It's, basically there is no bad boy, right? But to me, almost any trade could work. If you understand the trade, you do the data, you go here. And even a long straddle like this can work if you apply the right, principles in the data. I mean, it's, you can't just leave it alone, right? You can't just, hey, I'm going to put it on, close my eyes, and hope I come back with more money at the end of the day on a consistent basis. The probabilities are against you, right? But here's the neat thing with trading. When you work at it, and here you have the data. If you have a long strat, my contention is we could do this a long, 50 delta straddle. And as Troy said, we'll get this to work by the end of the week. The next week, we could flip it and say, okay, we'll sell the straddle and we can get that to work. So it's a matter of, what goes into creating a successful trade. Understanding, number one, and then based on the understanding, now you go to the data and you say, okay, where do I do this? What time do I put it on? How much can I afford to lose? And so I'm excited about this one. I have some ideas what might help it. But I think, I would encourage you to get involved. Send Troy and Matt some information on what would you do? What tweak would you do? And we could make it even better than, my goal would be with your feedback from the chat, we can make it better even than Troy already knows he's got the hot sauce, what it will be, but maybe through everybody's input. And that's what it is. A community's working together to make a better chair. So I'm excited about this. Yeah.
Yeah. I look at this trade right now and I think, oh my God. But I think
Matt, what do you think of that? Oh my!
I'm just gonna public confession. Yeah. I've never seen the entirety of either Grease or Rocky.
Really?
Yep.
I haven't seen Grease, but Rocky's kind of like a mystical.
Well, with that, we've got some programming changes to make. I'll tell you that much. But anyway, so I think that a couple things. People in the chat are raising good points. Tom, SPX, there are a ton of great trades you can do with a small account for SPX. And Qs, I know. Qs, I'm going to give you guys the secret. Qs are better for small trades, honestly, too. I have found with backtesting. So send me everything. Send me the Qs, send me SPX. Here's the problem with SPX. Let's say with a 5,000, if we kept the starting capital, if we said the main thing is we're going to keep the starting capital at 5K. Here's the problem with SPX. You can definitely do it. There's some great trades, but if you want to try to leg out of something using profit targets, it gets difficult with that. And so that's the only reason on my mind why you would use SPY rather than SPX is if you have a type of trade where you're legging out with profit target, not legging out, taking stuff off the table with profit targets. And so, but send me everything. Send me the Qs. This might not be a SPY by the end of the week. This might be a Q, whatever. I don't care. The point is to say with 5K, are there trades we could find that you're not risking 5K per trade? It's a small incremental something, dentist somewhere or some engineer or some, trash man. Someone wants to get into trading. They don't know what to do. We can look at them and say, look, here's this trade. We're going to teach it to you. This is something you can start out small with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Matt, what do you have to say something?
Time to check on the market.
Yeah, it's time. I've got some stuff I got to do in this market.
Still 172 points up. Ryder hasn't moved much since we started.
Listen, they're not our sponsors, but we'd love to have them as sponsors. I know when I'm trading on a day like today, I've got some stuff I got to take right at 9:30, positions I got to change. I like to rehydrate using Gatorade Zero.
We're open Gatorade Zero if you want to
shout out
some of the
Gatorade
blue.
Zero. I've already had my coffee, but I need electrolytes to have my brain wired the right way this morning.
And I've got the Unlimited Sip Club at Panera.
Yes, also a member.
For those
Shout
also
out,
want,
Dan.
Panera, Gatorade. Listen, we have space for you, and I think we can move the market for you a little bit. So, anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great trading day. We'll talk to you soon.